caring person behind all of that I do. So that's what, in terms of my philosophy on life, that's important to me as a person.
Have you found that speaking to alumni and people that have come to this university in the past, have you found that that's helped you with decisions you have to make in your life or administrative decisions of that sort?
Well, it's good to know about the history, about the traditions of the institution. I can remember during the first couple of months of my tenure as president here at Western, individuals approached me on certain things and say, why don't we change this? The institution has been doing this for years. I said, that's one of the things I don't want to change because I know about the history, I know about the tradition of the institution, and certain things, it's part of the history, it's part of the fabric of the institution that we should continue. Certain traditions that you want to hold on to. You don't want to abandon everything that's here. Some things that we can continue the tradition, but at the same time, we can enhance some of the tradition and add on to some of the things that we're doing, have done for years and years at this institution. So that's important to me as well in terms of making decisions. And just listening to certain individuals, you take parts from each person and you think about that and you think about how you can do it. I think about how I can help in terms of reshaping or to come up with other kinds of ideals to help move the institution forward, to make it even better than to make us better than what we are today.
So let's kind of jump back to high school, college, around that area. So you're getting ready to finish high school. What was your passion around high school and transitioning to college? What were you passionate about?
Well, my mother, I always go back to my mom because in the third grade, she encouraged me. She said, somebody needs to do something a little different from what we have done. I want you to go to high school, finish high school and go to college, because they didn't have an opportunity to get a formal education. So that was in my mind in terms of finishing high school and going on to college. I was always thinking about my background in terms of, I had a great English professor, an African-American male there when I was in high school, who came before our class and spoke well, and he would read and do interpretations in the classroom. As a young African-American male there, I was impressed by that. I hadn't really heard someone who came forth and spoke as well as he did and did the dramatic kinds of interpretations, and who was interested basically in me as a young African American, or as not just me, with all of the other students as well. He was interested in us being successful and going on to college. I went to Upward Bound at Alabama State University, starting in the 9th grade. Well, we would go during the summers, and my track coach, who was also my guidance counselor, encouraged me to go, and he enrolled me in that program. My sister went through the program as well. I didn't know much about college life, and all I knew that I just had a desire to go. And so during the Upward Bound program, they taught us about college life, about how to survive as a college student, the skills that were needed in order to be successful as a college student. So when I was getting ready to graduate from high school and going to college, I had mixed feelings. I was afraid at the same time, but I had that experience as an Upward Bound student that really helped me to understand college and what I needed to do in order to be successful as a college student. But I had the desire to go on to college. I wanted to get away from the farm. My first job was with my brothers who did brick mason work. I would make mortar during the summer and carry bricks in the wheelbarrow and those kinds of things, because they build buildings and those kinds of things. That was a tough life, and so I was motivated to go to college. very motivated with my mother encouragement, growing up on the farm, and all of those kinds of things really helped me because I wanted to do what my mother said. Somebody needs to do something different. That's what really inspired me. I wanted to make her happy, and I wanted to move to the next level, to do something different, and that's what I set out to do. Not exactly knowing what I wanted to do. My goal was to be a high school English teacher, but I never taught high school English because each stage when I got in the bachelor's program, I met another African American male who was an English professor and encouraged me to go on to do a master's. And I said, you think I can do that? Sure you can. The sky is the limit. And then when I went to a master's program, I met another African American male who taught English there on the master's level, on the graduate level. He said, you need to do a PhD. And I said, you think I could do that kind of work? Sure you can. The sky is the limit. And so I went on. I had nothing to lose, everything to gain. No one had traveled in my path, in my family, the path that I had traveled or that I was traveling. And so my mom always said, if you don't make it, the door is always open. You can always come back home. And Lord knows I was not coming back home because there was nothing for me to go back for in terms of doing that hard kind of work. I wanted to do something different, as she would say. Somebody has to do something different. And I was that person to do something different. So I went on.
So without the mentors that you spoke about, would you say you'd be a high school English teacher probably today?
Probably, yes. I think I would have been would be a high school English teacher if it had not been for my mentors who encouraged me to go on. And I believe in having mentors, and I learned at an early age because I didn't have anybody else to mentor me. So I had to get mentors. Even today, I have great mentors who, at every stage of my life, I had somebody there telling me basically what I should do, or I was seeking their advice, and that's the advice that I give to students now. Surround yourselves with mentors, people who are right there, who have gone through the kinds of experiences that you will be going through, and people who are where you want to be. If you want to be a lawyer, get a lawyer as a mentor. If you want to be a president, get a president as a mentor. You want to be a doctor, get a doctor as a mentor. And that's what I tried to do for my sons, to make sure that they have mentors in the field in which they want to pursue. So that's very important.
So, are you mentoring any students at this point, or people in general in this area?
Yes, I have students here who come to my office just for advice, and they will send me an email asking a question or two, and then they make time to get on my calendar so that I can sit down and talk to them. So yes, I have lots of mentees here at Western, but I also have mentees all across the country who call me for advice. When I speak at various places, they will come and ask me, will you serve as a mentor for me? Or there are people like Freeman Rabowski, who is my mentor, or Dolores Spikes, who is my mentor, who will say, well, we want you to mentor this person. They've sent me mentees. So I have mentees all over the country.
So during college and your master's and your doctorate, were you already building your family? I'm asking because I'm trying to get a little bit of perspective on how you managed to keep your journey together as a family man, a non-traditional student, maybe in the sense of having your wife and maybe kids at the same time. What kind of advice do you have for non-traditional students that are trying to be more active in the community while keeping their degrees in order?
Well, first, in terms of my experience, I graduated from undergrad and went directly into a master's program and worked for about a couple of years and went back and did my PhD. But I met my wife during the time when I was working between the master's and before I started the PhD. And one question I asked, I said, well, my goal is to get a PhD if I'm going to stay in higher ed. And I'm going to be quite busy, that kind of thing. And I explained all the challenges that a PhD student endures during the studies, and but we decided that we wanted to get married during that